COMC makes a big splash, big announcement, and PSA has got February pricing specials. Stick around. Friends, we are back. It is another day. It is another sports card video. I hope that you all are doing amazingly well. If you missed Off-Centered last night, that was a really fun time with Flip and Steve, my co-host, as well as Neo Cards and Comics joined us. Good conversation. Definitely check that out if you did miss it. Don't forget to subscribe. I've been getting tons of feedback over the last months and months of COMC. When are you going to add grading to the site? People want the convenience of being able to buy and sell and flip and all this, but also have that opportunity to send cards to go off for grading just with the click of a button. Well, friends, that day has arrived.
This is the coolest thing I have ever seen.
COMC announces that they have added grading. They have added CSG and CGC. It is literally with the click of a button. You go to any particular card, you go to the Actions tab, click on Submit for Grading, choose either CSG or CGC, depending on the type of card that it is. You then enter in your declared value, and then you pick your service level. Bada bing, bada boom, and we are off. One item of note is it's not an option to send off to grade and then back home. It would go to grading and then go back to your COMC account. So just something to note, because I know I've seen different questions on that. You can't grade a card and then have it sent home. It would go back to COMC, and then you can figure it out from there. Most people don't realize this, but COMC does a ton of work with Upper Deck, with the Upper Deck license cards. So we're talking about Marvel cards, hockey cards, AEW, etc. If you open a digital pack, an e-pack, so to speak, and there's physical cards that come from that, you can then attach it to your COMC account. And that's why a lot of times, like when Marvel Metal came out, for example, tons of those cards hit COMC. And when I'm looking for Marvel cards in particular, that is a good place to go, COMC. I'll look at eBay, of course, like everybody else, but COMC is always one to look for because they do have that common bond. As I was talking to COMC about this, while yes, this is an amazing step in the right direction, I would really like to see all four grading companies attached to this thing. I think that would be unbelievable. With consumers, it's all about choice. And so whether it's CSG or PSA or SGC or Beckett, BGS, whatever your preference is, and you might have a different strategy for each individual card that you've got there. And so having all four eventually, I think would be awesome. So that was my feedback to them. But at the same time, logistically trying to roll out multiple grading companies as options, not easy to do. And so I understand kind of the slow rollout for something like that. So we'll see what happens down the road. Eventually, I think that it would be great to see all four companies. The grading price wars continue with PSA announcing February price specials. And they've kind of focused a little bit on vintage. I mean, we're talking about 89 or older. So that's also 80s cards attached to that as well. $199 declared value at $15 a card, which is kind of interesting. And I wonder, feedback, I guess I would like feedback from set collectors or PSA registry folks. Is that a price point that gets you going, to do your stuff? Because I mean, if we go back a couple of years, the bulk rate was $8, so $15, almost double that. And so my first thought is this just kind of new pricing that folks that are building sets, 80 sets or vintage sets, is this what they're just going to have to get used to, is kind of this higher price point? And are people taking advantage of it? Or, if you're building a set, are you just kind of sitting back and saying, nah, I'll just go ahead and wait for it to be $8 or $10 again? I really wonder what the answer is to that. We've seen just from the gem rate data that PSA hasn't slowed down as far as how many cards they're grading. So, you wonder, it's like, what is their incentive to bring that price down to $10 for the set registry folks, outside of just being a kind of a loyalty thing where, hey, those folks have been loyal to you for a long time, so we're giving you a special rate. But in terms of their capacity, they might be hitting their capacity at 1 million cards a month. It's $199 declared value. It's too low to capture a lot of kind of those important 80s cards, or 70s, 60s as you go back in time a little bit on the vintage stuff. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Or some might say, hey, that $199 declared value, that's fine. That captures maybe some, less talked about Hall of Famers in baseball or basketball, football. It works great. So I would like your feedback there. If that $15 is good enough, I guess, for the vintage set collector, registry person, or if that's not really how you're looking at it, it's more of like, I've got, Tom Seaver 1970 tops or something that I want to get graded. Fine. That fits into that bucket. All right, and then also TCG and non-sports, same deal. So the Pokemon and the Marvel folks, Pokemon really, TCG takes up almost 40% of PSA's overall business according to the gem rate data. That has grown over time. It's tremendous. Not a huge shock just in how popular Pokemon cards and TCG is. I didn't realize it up until a couple of years ago, and now even just seeing how many people are grading Pokemon cards and TCG stuff, Magic the Gathering, it's a tremendous number. And the other big grading companies are trying to make inroads here. CGC is got pricing specials. SGC announced a Pokemon card special that I think is going to help them pick up some of the market share. But PSA decided to, and I believe this was the original special, and it looks to be that they're just continuing the older special, the $15 price point for Pokemon, TCG, Marvel stuff. My overall thoughts are really this is good news for the average hobbyist, for the overall hobby in general. You've got COMCs adding grading, and the grading companies really kind of battling back and forth for your business. All good in my eyes. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.